of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Are you ready? It is your time to take a few moments from your busy day to unwind, be inspired, and listen to the psychic insights of your host, empowerment psychic, Halley, a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. Off air, be sure to connect with Halley at halleyelise.com. And now, the Halley Elise Show.
Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you could join me this evening. It's funny, today is Friday, but I know we just recently had St. Patty's Day, so you'll see I am donating a little bit of green here. My mom actually mentioned something. Went, well, that's not the reason, but you know what? I figured I could use it. So there you go. Celebrating the green. I'm wondering how many of you had green beer. Never quite appealed to me, gotta tell you. The idea of a cold beer there on a hot day, that's got its appeal sometimes, but green, I don't know. Green food, unless it's a vegetable, just doesn't seem to do it. Anyways, welcome. I do want to remind everyone that you can give a call in and you could have a reading this evening. It's 888-565-1470. Once again, that's 888-565-1470. Keep in mind that this week and next week, that's it for a while on terrestrial radio. I'm taking a little bit of a respite. I do plan on doing something with a podcast or webcast. I'm really not clear on that yet. There are a couple things in the works, and I'll be sure to let everybody know via Facebook and the other social medias that I'm involved with. Of course, you can always call me or check on the website, which is halleyelise.com. Also, April 3rd, 7:30 p.m., we have the Psychic Gallery. And I know everybody's been saying, when's it coming back? When's it coming back? Because the last gallery was in December. It's going to be kind of fun because when we have those big breaks of 3-4 months, it's 4 months actually in between, we always get a nice group of people that come out. Everybody's excited to be there. Actually, we have a nice group of people no matter when the gallery takes place. However, I just find there being a higher energy, a more, if you will, something in the air that you can feel when it's been several months. If you're wondering about the Psychic Gallery, take a look at the website. Again, it's Halley, Halley, Elise, ELISE.com. We'll give you all the information. Not only that, if you go online and pay for your entry beforehand, you get a discount. Kind of nice, right? And it is at 7:30 on the 3rd. So I'd love to interconnect and connect and do all that fun stuff. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. There was something I was going to tell you folks about, and I am drawing a blank. That's helpful. Perhaps it'll come back around while we're chit-chatting. All right. Just went right away. You ever have those moments? I think I did not have enough water today. It's really funny. I have clients in periodically who they sit down, and before I begin to speak, I can feel their cells calling out and asking for water. It's like, please, I need hydration. And I'll always share with them what pops up. And inevitably, somebody will say, oh my gosh, you know, I always think about water, but I never drink it. And haven't had anything to drink for hours. And I actually did that today. Normally, I'm really good about drinking water all day. So if all of a sudden I go, you'll know why. It'll be lack of water-itis. Like that instead of dehydration, lack of water-itis. I think I like that better, actually. We can coin a new term. Okay, silliness aside, I had a lady in today, and it was funny because I'm giving her a reading, and something came up about her home and the sale of the home, and specifically that she was going to initially rent instead of purchasing. And in her mind, she's thinking, nope, not happening. I have animals, and trying to rent a place with animals, good luck type of thing. And just was so strong. I said to her, really and truly, this is the feeling. I know that you want to purchase, but what I'm getting is temporarily rent and then moving into another place. And she left, and I got thinking, it wasn't just a passing feeling, meaning it wasn't just kind of vague. it was so strong that I wasn't insistent, but I was very direct about, this is really what I'm getting. This is the sensation. And I know in her mind she was thinking, no, maybe not. We'll wait and see. But I do know that typically when this type of thing comes up, I get phone calls later about how it's really weird, had no intention of doing that, but that's what happened. Kind of cool. Meanwhile, she had a friend of hers who had come in today as well, and something came up for her, and she was saying, oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. So it's kind of interesting how somebody experiences a reading, and the idea is for you to take the information in and sit with it for a little bit. Oftentimes, when you get a prediction, you're thinking, well, you already know the outcome, and yet you're coming in for that specific reason. It's always fascinating to me because so many people are saying, no, that's not true, whatever it is. I know that friends sometimes when they're doing a reading, for instance, let's say a girl is looking for a guy, and the person says, oh, you're going to be meeting Michael. And the girl says, no, that's ridiculous. It's my ex's name. I wouldn't even think about going out with a Michael again. And then 2 years later, there's a call. How would you like to go to the wedding? I'm marrying a Michael. It's kind of amusing, isn't it? Bottom line, whether you come to me, you go to somebody else, you're just listening within, pay attention. You don't have to be right in that moment. A lot of times information comes to you about the future that really and truly in the moment makes absolutely no sense. And I've shared different things over the years online about how you can say something and the other person goes, that's just nuts. It makes no sense whatsoever. Have no clue what you're talking about. And then afterwards they go, it was the strangest thing. And again, the strangest thing. What I find so strange is we look for, and I say we because I look for divine information all the time. And sometimes something comes through and I too go, no, that can't be right. I give a good example. And it's really funny because my students and those who attend my regular programs, they'll say, come on, you've been doing this for so long. Well, why aren't you just listening? It's because we sometimes fight with our common sense, or we fight with what we think is intellect and don't want to hear that intuition, even though that's what we're supposed to be paying attention to. That's our guiding star. I was looking at property the other day, and I had a list of different things and different people that I set appointments with. And the night before I was supposed to go see this one property, I kept feeling like, don't go, cancel. Thinking, well, that's silly. Why would I do that? And I kept hearing, don't go. And I'm going, no, well, that's just not nice. I scheduled an appointment. I should show up. That's the right thing. And I'm fighting with myself. Well, of course, that day it rains like cats and dogs, and there's way too much traffic, and a short ride ends up being a really long ride. And then I get there, and the person I'm supposed to have this meeting with to see the property isn't there. Ta-da! Shouldn't have gone. But I laughed because I thought, I know this. And sometimes I don't pay attention either. That said, when I say to you, listen, it just simply means listen more often than not, because everybody has that gut feeling. They have that knowing that is there to serve them. Pay attention to it. It's there for a reason. I love when people come into the office and you say whatever it is that comes up and they go, yeah, I thought of that yesterday. Yep, I heard that too. Yep, I know I should have. How often do we do that, though, with everything in our life? Really think about this for a moment. We say, okay, I have a job, and to make this job better or easier or make more money, I need to do A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm going to do those. I'm going to do the rah-rah thing. I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to make it happen. And maybe a month goes by, 2, perhaps 3, and that same person says, I really need to do these things. And you wonder, what's the difference? Why is it that we do not listen to ourselves, whether it is intuitive or it is intellectual? What is that gap? Sometimes I really believe it's just we are so distracted by what we believe we are supposed to be doing in any given moment. And the funny thing about belief is that's nothing more than something that we think often enough that we start to accept as truth, which means we can change a belief. And we can say, well, we're too tired to get to it, or we just don't have the time, or don't have the skill set. However, whatever it is that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, if you make a commitment to yourself and you declare, this is what I'm going to do, and every single day, whether it's first thing in the morning or just before you go to bed at night, or perhaps both in the morning and the evening, you make that declaration for yourself, you will find that you actually follow through. We do it with other things. How often do you see somebody write a grocery list? We don't think in terms of, oh, my intuition is going to remind me, even though it probably will. If you've forgotten something off the list and all of a sudden you're going to that aisle way down there and you're wondering, why am I going down there? It's because there's something to be found. You get on the aisle and sure enough, you find that thing that you had forgotten from the list. But really, make a commitment to yourself. What is it that you desire? What is it that you want? Let your intuition guide you. Let it point you in the right direction. However, also, you need to have follow-through. When we talk about law of attraction or law of reciprocity, both of those need to have follow-through. Just because something is available to you doesn't mean that you will utilize it unless it's sitting in front of you, unless you have that knowing that you're supposed to. But how are you supposed to know that if you're not listening? Again, whether it's that intuition or it is knowledge, and it's knowledge from wherever. Could be because somewhere when you were little, you saw something and it seeped into your subconscious, and that's where it's remained until this moment, and it all of a sudden comes forth to deliver a message. Take it. It's there. People go for psychic readings. They go for spiritual guidance. They go for mentorship and for motivation because they don't, for whatever reason, feel that they have it within themselves, or in the moment don't necessarily trust themselves. Now, people like myself are here for that reason, to help you. But really and truly, you want to be empowered. You want to think in terms of, this is important to me. I'm going to do what I need to do to make it happen. I'm going to get quiet and go within for a moment and listen to what it is that my next step is supposed to be. When you do that, and you do it on a consistent basis, you will find that it comes easily. It does. It really does. All of a sudden, you're getting those knowings, those messages, that inner guidance, that divine understanding constantly. It simply comes down to listening. And how often do we not listen? Just in general. People talk about all sorts of things. And we go, uh-huh. And then later they bring something up and we go, oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that. I don't know. Why is that? What is most important, really and truly, is relationships. Think about this. How you interact with a loved one, with a coworker, with your neighbor, with the grocer, with the guy at the gas station. It's important. You can say, oh, well, none of that matters. I just do my own thing. I go. But when you create connections, you create relationships, you have the ability to be more tapped in, not just for yourself, but for others as well. Give a little thought to that. We are going to take a break, and if you'd like to call in for your own personal reading, it's 888-565-1470. We'll be right back. This is your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
You have been listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, a top 100 psychic. She is your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. Your guide to peace and wisdom. For a private appointment off air, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show with Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Welcome back, everyone. Took a little break, and if you're just joining us, I do want to remind you that the Psychic Gallery is April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. in Boca. For more information and for discounts on your entry, please go to the website, which is HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com. Okay, so before break, we were talking a little bit about listening. And I have students who I find quite interesting. They will come to me for the Psychic Apprenticeship Program, and there are lessons that they do, and they are to report back as to their experiences and if they got it, is there something else they need to get, and then we have conversations about what to take care of, how to make things better, what their experiences are, etc. And then there's additional lessons, and it keeps going for a period of time. What I think is so fascinating is that whole listening thing. You could say to somebody, okay, this is the direction. Please follow it this way. Now, the direction is always the same. But the one thing that I can guarantee, and I think it's kind of funny, is that the outcome most of the time is different. Because you as an individual, if you're listening to that psychic ability that you have, that inner voice, it's not necessarily going to show up in the same way that it shows up for me. Some folks are more sentient. They just feel something. They know it in the depth of their soul. Other folks, it's hearing. It's that auditory. There are others, it's cognizance. There are others that are clairvoyant. There are so many different ways in which you hear information. And you could do or have the same lesson with, let's say, 10 people and find that each one of them does it a little bit differently. And each one of them has a slightly different result. The one thing that I know that truly works is enhancing ability. I oftentimes have somebody who say, oh, when I was a little kid, I used to really be good with clairvoyance, and for some reason, as I've gotten older, it's just disappeared. Don't know what happened. And they start working with the apprenticeship program, and they find that it comes back, as well as other gifts that they didn't know they had. It's kind of cool. I love when somebody says, oh, yes, when I was a teenager, I always got these messages. I always knew what was going on, and I would get them in dreams, but now I don't dream. Of course we dream. And there's I'll rephrase that. There are very few people on the planet that don't dream. There is actually a condition where you do not. But we'll say the average American, the average person around the world has dreams. Again, select few who do not dream. Through dreams, we have different phases. You can have a prophetic phase. You can have the rapid eye. Well, you do have the rapid eye movement phase. Different cycles that we go through give us different types of information. This is why when we dream, a lot of times what we see is not genuine. And I'll explain. If you dream of somebody chasing you down and trying to harm you, that is not necessarily a prophetic dream, even if you are very psychic and other areas of your world. It may be your mind trying to communicate a message. I'm not saying with absolute positivity that 100% it never is that, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's more about what is the feeling that's associated to the dream. What is that knowing? I have a friend, she dreams of people passing, and then they do. Within a couple of days, week, I mean, anytime she dreams of the person passing, they pass. But for her, it's very clear, very specific, and even the people are very specific. It's not vague where it's, I'm somewhere and I see people passing away, I see people dying. For her, that's her in. That is, if you will, her gift to know. And if you're thinking, but how could that possibly be a gift, knowing when somebody's going to die? That's not good, especially if it's somebody you know. Why would you want to know that? It gives you an opportunity to spend time with them. It gives you an opportunity to perhaps help them. It gives you an opportunity to not be shocked when the situation occurs. It's really kind of interesting how, again, each one of us perceive in different ways. And I've talked about this over the years a lot. I mean, I've been speaking on the radio on and off since 2005. Sometimes with one particular show, sometimes with another particular show. However, I always seem to bring into it the idea that we have that knowing, we have that inner voice, we have that inner guidance, because we do. And you do not have to be a quote-unquote spiritual being or a pious religious individual to be able to hear the divine. You could say that you don't believe in anything beyond this planet and still have the gift of knowing, because it is something that we are born with. Every single person on the face of the planet has the ability to hear. They have the ability to perceive beyond the ordinary. It's that sixth sense. And that sixth sense is a part of us. Whether we want to call it one name or another, it doesn't matter. But it does matter to pay attention to it. And it does matter to make relationships. And it does matter to hear, to really hear. I know for me personally, and this is so true, it has made me safe on more than one occasion, hearing what is it that I need to do. And it's funny because it's not what I'm asking. I can ask and receive information as well, but I usually don't. It's more a matter of when there's something for me personally that's important, it'll just come. Talk about inner guidance. How nice is that? How would you like to build your inner guidance? There are so many ways. There's books, there's videos, there's YouTube, there's CDs, there's DVDs, there's me, there's a million other people. The first thing, though, to wanting it is really making a decision that you will make a commitment to you. We were talking about this earlier, making a declaration, declaring something for you. Ultimately, what I like to do, and part of the reason why I do speaking engagements and not just radio or not just in the office, is I love seeing light bulbs go on. Meaning, I love looking at someone and seeing that light shine in their eyes because they've gotten it. They're finding themselves empowered. They're finding their own voice. They're finding that, yes, there is that inner gift that they can listen to that is going to direct them, that they don't have to be afraid. How many people do we hear, sadly, that they've taken their own life? And so many of them, you hear the relatives, the friends, the neighbors, they say, couldn't tell anything was wrong. Everything was great. This person was happy all the time. Guarantee they were not listening to that voice within that let them know that if they made a change, they could make a difference in their life. That let them know by speaking to someone and getting help could make a difference in their life. And those in the mental health field may say, well, you know, when you're mentally unwell, you don't listen, you don't pay attention, you don't this, you don't that. But I don't find that to be true. I have some clients who have dealt with mental health issues, whether it was bipolar or it was depression, or it doesn't matter. Again, labels don't really matter. What matters is, what are you hearing? What are you listening to? How are you helping yourself? And if you're feeling stuck If you are feeling that your life is not where you want it to be and you're thinking, well, I don't even need to be here, then you might want to go quiet for a little bit and actually ask yourself, what is it that I need to know to feel better? What is it that I need to do to feel better? And it doesn't have to be as extreme as somebody contemplating suicide. It can just simply be because you're finding it difficult to navigate in this world. And really and truly, our world is difficult. There's so many responsibilities and obligations and expenditures and time constraints. It can spin your head. It's important to get quiet. It's important to breathe. Take that deep breath and just go. Make it fluid. Make it so that when you take that breath, you actually feel your own life energy, that kinetic life force. Remind yourself that you are breathing. Remind yourself that you are living. Remind yourself that you have an inner knowing. It's simply a matter of opening up to it. And if you find that you can't go that route because it's just too hard, you sit down, you can't do the meditation thing, you can't get the quiet, mind's too busy, then reach out to somebody like me. Reach out to somebody else who does psychic work. Reach out to a therapist, but reach out to someone. Don't allow sadness to take over your world and make it the end all, because that's ultimately where you end up. If you allow yourself to just do what's absolutely necessary, maybe that's cooking a meal for a loved one, or it's going to work, whatever that necessity is, it will become a burden. And you begin to feel that it's not worth your energy if you're not hearing inside. I want to leave you with Psychic Gallery, April 3rd, 7:30 p.m. Go on the website, you get discounted tickets. Come out. Come see how you can develop your own inner knowing and come out and get a reading. I promise the evening to be fun, educational, enlightening. Everybody leaves with a smile. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Good night.
Remember to tune in every week at this time on WWNN for more peace, information, and psychic phenomena with empowerment psychic Halley Elise, Top 100 Psychic.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program